Greetings and good day to you. I thought today we would have a chat about the question of do I want to know the name of my remedy or not? So, in 20 years, I have had three people who flatly refused to take the remedy because when they looked it up, they found that it was a poisonous substance. So, let's address this issue. Let's take it head on here because remedies come from plant, animal, and mineral sources, and some of them are poisonous. So let's take a look. Let's start with something that we're really more familiar with as Americans. Let's take a look at Western drugs. The drugs that are found in any pharmacy all over the world. And let's take a look at a few of those and see what we find. Taxus brevifolia is a pine tree. It's called the Pacific yew. It inhibits cancers such as breast and lung and Kaposi's sarcoma, and it's also used to prevent the re-narrowing of an artery after a stent has been put in. So that's one. Opium, mandrake, henbane, hemlock are all poisonous. They have numbed the pain of surgery for more than 1,000 years. The African saw-scaled viper and leeches all have blood-thinning venoms in them, and they are used for anticoagulants. A synthetic version of the Gila monster is used to lower blood sugar, and it also helps increase insulin for diabetics. This drug is called exenatide. Bothrops, or the Brazilian pit viper, has a venom that causes a really drastic drop in the blood pressure of its prey. So it is used in hypertension medications. It is the first oral ACE inhibitor used in that situation. We're all familiar with caffeine, nicotine, and we are familiar with the pleasurable effects and also what can happen if you get too much. Salix alba, the white willow, was the very first aspirin. It was the very first painkiller. Artemisia is it's a frosty green plant, and it was one of the very first sources for an anti-malarial drug. Even water can be poisonous. It seems like every other year or so you see an article where someone drank too much water too quickly at one time. It overwhelms the fluid balance, that delicate fluid balance in the system, and they die. That is literally called water poisoning. So it kind of brings to mind that old adage of the poison is in the dose. And lastly, mercury. Mercury has been used for all sorts of stuff, from purgatives to infants' teething powders. And this was the world where the newly minted Dr. Samuel Hahnemann took his place 200 years ago, was this world of mercury and bloodletting. And indeed, this was the problem he was trying to figure out how to solve. How can I take the poisonous effects of a substance out and leave the healing properties? He accomplished that through the succussion and the dilution of homeopathic remedies. This is also an answer for the depletion of these substances in nature. For instance, I believe tiger bones are used in Chinese medicine, and so tigers are being hunted, and they are on the endangered species list. And it would stop that portion of that. I know tigers have got other problems, such as their environment and things like that. Everything is complicated when you look into it, isn't it? So we kind of find ourselves asking, well, what really is a poison? In the end, it's a substance that interferes with the normal body process and the deranged body processes that we find in illnesses. The existing physiology is stopped, changed, started, blocked, disrupted, opened, closed. False signals are sent. All sorts of things can happen. And that, in essence, is just what medicines do. And by the way, we all know that not all drugs end up being very good either. Sometimes it just seems like today's wonder drug is tomorrow's lawsuit. So, because the reason for this is it doesn't matter what healing modality you use, if it goes against this grain, this cascade that our Creator installed in us to keep us living, to give us life, if you go against that, the body has to compromise, and that is called side effects. So let's bring this home to you. What are the pros and cons, and what can you do about knowing the name of the remedy? Well, you have some choices here, so let's take a look at your options. Well, the first one is, oh, I don't care. I would love to know the name of my remedy. It won't bother me, and it won't affect me. I'm curious, and I want to know. The second option is, I want to know, but just not right away. I would prefer to just do my first month or two with no preconceived notions, with no influence, with no thinking about what it is, wondering. I just want to just really hone in on living. After a month or two, then I want to find out. Another option is for you to wait until you find a really super good remedy that works really well for you. This is also a great idea too, because when you find out your remedy, you will learn so much about who you are, how your body functions. I can give you all sorts of information. You have no idea what homeopaths know behind the scenes about each remedy state. It's really quite a treasure and a privilege. Now, on this issue, if you were to grow up in India, it's a very different situation there because they love homeopathy so much. Tiny babies to seasoned citizens get remedies. You grow up with it as part of your life. So in India, there are many practitioners who will not tell you what your remedy is. Because, and I really understand this, is because they get so much flack about choosing the remedy that they did. Because the general public knows a little too much, perhaps. So I think it's a kind of thing where you have to have you have to have a good reputation before you might get by with that, but that's the way it goes in India. So I think that's everything I had. And as always, good luck to you as you try to figure out what you're dealing with, and good luck in your finding answers.